Dandavat pranam, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Welcome to Śrī Radha Vinobihari Mandir.
Shri Vrindavana Dham.
Yeah, and they have changed their outfits. So make sure you stay for the darshan in the not so distant future. Close up darshan. Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupal Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Dandavat pranam, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Excuse me. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Kirtiguccha, Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Padakam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavashta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitaśta Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Nārayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Pada Jigataika Hridni Chaitanya Lila Amrita Sara Nārayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyāno Keshava Iti Namine Atimartya Charitraya Swashritanam Chapaline Jivadute Sadarthaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanto Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vidya Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishorai Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchiranandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gauravirbhava Bhunesvam Nirdeshtha Sajanapriya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandam Matergati Matsarvasvapadambojo Radha Madana Mohana Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Śrīmad Ratnagara Sinhasanasho Shri Śrī Radha Śrī Govinda Devo Preshthalihi Sevyamano Smarami Śrīmandra Sarasarambhi Vangshivatattatastitaha Karshan Venu Svanergopi Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatjai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nam Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva Gatiranyata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
So there's about an 8-second delay.
Okay.
Because I was listening with the sound.
Right.
And I counted it, it's about 8 seconds.
Okay.
That's too long for if this goes off.
Okay.
Do you want me to take that phone? It still has that delay, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So there's an 8-second delay between what is streaming and what we're able to see. And so there's every opportunity, because we were utilizing the internet from the SIM card today, that at some random time in the next 2 hours, 3 hours, it's going to cut off. So we hope that we'll catch it before then, but we will immediately reconnect as soon as we discover that. So please forgive us in advance. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya. Page 32. Is Jiva Pavana Prabhu there? Yes, he is. Okay. So if you don't have the songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly posts the bhajan in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu and you will find the bhajan along with its translations, followed by commentaries of our acharyas. And if you don't remember the page number, then Lavangalata, she always posts the page number. So in case you come late and you somehow need both of those, they're both available. Thank you, Dandava Pranam. Today is a very, I'm going to say the word interesting, but it's a strange day because today is the anniversary, according to the solar calendar, of the day that our Srila Gurudev disappeared from this world. And yet we follow according to the lunar calendar. Sudevi and I were both in Puri at the time, serving the Vaishnavas who were serving Srila Gurudev. So we were cooking for them and we were cleaning, I was cleaning their room, cleaning Gurudev's room. And
Gurudev had stopped eating at that point.
Yeah, by that point, Pujabad Madhav Mahārāja was cooking very little for Srila Gurudev. He wasn't able to take so much. And so we had been cooking for Gurudev through the end of his stay in Govardhan. And then after that, there were so many different medicines and Madhav Mahārāja was cooking some different things for him. And so from that, then we were cooking for the crew who was looking after Gurudev because they also needed very healthy and robust, but not too rich prasadam to maintain their health. And so we were taking care there. And it was 4:30, around 4 to 4:30 in the morning when we were told. And so immediately we got prepared and went to Srila Gurudev's room. And by that time, previously they had the doors locked and we said, well, we don't need to keep the doors locked anymore. So we let the devotees in and then we remained there as long as we could before they took his transcendental body to Navadvip Dham for Samadhi. So for us, yeah, it's quite an intense remembrance. It was not unexpected, but it was still, you could say, the shock of our lives and also all of yours. So it carries a heavy weight for us in our hearts today. Of course, it always does. Every day for us is Guru Day. And I'm saying us, meaning for all of us. Every day for us is Guru Day. And personally, we're always trying to remember him and his instructions and share those instructions to the best of our ability as he instructed us. but still on these days there's a particular intensity, acuteness of the awareness of what we had received in our lives, and also the physical loss of that sweetness, and only by endeavoring to our maximum extent to be able to follow his instructions, his teachings, to practically apply them and also to encourage others to do so, are we able to feel his presence strongly in our lives. And so we endeavor for that daily. And we thank you profusely for allowing us, giving us the opportunity to do that. So Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koro e dase Trinope Khayoti Kripa Bindu Diya Koro e dase Trinope Khayoti Sakara Sahani Baladiya Koro Nijamane Spriha Hiro Sakara Sahani Baladiya Koro Nijamane Spriha Hiro Kripa Bindu Diya Koro e dase Trinope Khayoti Kripa Bindu Diya Koro e dase Trinope Khayoti Sakare Soma Korite Shakati Dehonatha Jatha Jatho Sakare Soma Korite Shakati Dehonatha Jatha Jatho Tabe to gani Hari Nama Sukhe Aparadha Bhave Prabhupada ki Rupa Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. It was as if the earth stood still on that day. We didn't want to go to Navadvip and see them place him into Samadhi, and due to sickness I was not able to go anyhow. We went into Srila Gurudev's room and we were there for some time. They told us to sing the Australia Hare Krishna tune, and it was like that was at 4 in the morning or 4:30, and we couldn't. It was just too painful. And we were in Gurudev's room for maybe half an hour at that time. And then Madhupuri Prabhu said, okay, if you can just go out, we'll bathe him, change him, and then everyone can come back in. So maybe 45 minutes later, by then the entire world had found out. We went back into Gurudev's room, and it was amazing. So many Vaishnavas from everywhere were coming in. So many from, I don't know how they heard, but different acharyas from different mats are all coming and offering their Dandavat Pranam. And everyone looked dark and gloomy except for Gurudev, who looked beautiful and peaceful and warm and glowing. And by that time, he was sitting up on his bed and so many were offering flowers to him. And we were just singing many different ashtakams. And I remember that he had sung for Srila Prabhupada, Hari Hari Kabe Mora and Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. And so we also sang those ones for Srila Gurudev at that time. And they carried him out, sitting up, and put him sitting up in the car with all the flower garlands and everything while Kirtan was going on. And then as the car drove away, just before we were singing Govinda Damodara Madhaveti and Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. It felt like, okay, we'll see you next time. In a month or two, wherever we meet you on tour. And then, of course, that's how we meet him. We meet him through our seva. I don't think I can do this today. Not this. Hari Hari Kabe Mor Habe Henu Dina. Page 41 in the songbook. Hari Hari Kabe Mor Habe Heno Dino. Hari Hari. I keep singing broken hearts there. Hari Hari Kabe Mor Habe Heno Dino. Kabe Mor Habe Heno Dino. Kabe Mor Habe Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he would always say, maybe now they don't understand what I'm giving, but one day all will understand. And they're starting, it's starting. The refinements, the depths of understanding, the gifts that he has given to give us some clarity about what Rupa Anuga means. How those best followers of Rupa Goswami, like Raghunath Das Goswami, Jeev Goswami, and so many others, how they followed, what was the specific flavor of their bhajan, their thought processes, their moods, their gift, their own practice, and what they also gave for us. Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja gave those refinements. Even so many were confused about these points. But Srila Gurudev was so clear, and everything that he spoke has shastric verification, backup, and it's very solid. I'm not saying that all of the other acharyas haven't done this, but specifically about the practices of bhajan that Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami did. Srila Gurudev felt that so many jungles had already been cut by all of our previous acharyas, and he had already decided that I want to give what everyone really wants to give. And it's a kind of a strange thing to say, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada also said this. I wanted to give Rupanuga Bhakti, but I had to spend my entire time cutting jungles. This was on one of his last statements. And our Srila Gurudev had determined that that's what he was going to give. But in his preaching, we saw, as he was traveling around the world, in the beginning, he was speaking very clearly on these things, and then gradually he had to adjust his approach to accommodate our weakness. Our weakness. So then he had to, again, I remember that 1 year, after 4 years of him really focusing our minds, our attention to what our goal should be. He said, now we need to go back and then show the process how to attain the goal. So Srila Gurudev was always bringing us to the depth, the mood behind everything that we are doing on the path of bhakti. As we've been reading every single day and discussing the gifts that he gave are so valuable, and one day the world will understand what he has given. Srila Gurudev himself said at Gokulananda Mandir, Radha Gokulananda, here in Vrindavan, that Rupa Goswami came and he gave this Parakiya Bhav, this conception. This is really the mood of our Rupanuga Guru Varga. Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajete Prachar. That is what those real Brajvasis, those Rupanugas are preaching. Parakiya Bhav means the mood of the Gopis' love and affection for Krishna, which completely controls him. Srila Gurudev said after some time it became lost. And then again, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur came and he re-established this Parakiya Bhav as the highest. He said again, after some time it became lost. And Gurudev said, now I have come. And that doesn't mean that the other acharyas have not also given this, but this is a speciality, a particular focus of his. And so many people tried to criticize him for it. But if you saw his practice, if you saw his own personal bhajan, and his complete dedication and lack of any inebriety, then if we were to criticize him for preaching this, we should also criticize Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Rupa Goswami, and any other of our acharyas who have given this and preached this. His practice is perfect. His bhajan was perfect. There was no weakness or inebriety or anything. The only thing that we need to be wary of is that the teachings of our Srila Gurudev what he has given, we need to endeavor to maintain them as they are, as it is. Because now so many are adjusting, twisting, manipulating for their own motivations. What?
Can you sing Jayanila even though it's not?
Sure. Twisting for their own motivations. And Srila Gurudev warned us, in the future, in my name, Sahaja will be spread in this world. So as aspiring disciples or disciples of Srila Gurudev, it is our duty to understand what that means and to make sure that if someone is doing that in his name, that we will preach the pure conceptions in his name even bolder and stronger, so that people can see, wait a second, they're saying this and they're saying that. Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, when he would see anyone deviate from the teachings of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, because in the name of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada they were doing so many nonsense activities and twisting and changing his teachings or rejecting his teachings. Śrīla Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, if they would not listen to his convincing arguments, he would make a court case against them. Court case. And he would have multiple court cases running simultaneously. Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja said that our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Gosvāmī Mahārāja would proclaim or exclaim that if there are not a minimum of 3 court cases going simultaneously, then your preaching is not successful. If so many are coming against you for trying to preach the truth, but you are holding tight, who will make a court case? Someone who's not afraid to tell the truth. So on behalf of our Gurudev, Srila Gurudev said, what is the best thing we can do? We cannot repay him in millions of lifetimes for what he has given to us. But he said there's one thing you can do. One thing. What is that? Whoever you meet, share with them these moods, these teachings, these conceptions he has given. They are the same as what our Guru Parampara have given. He's just opened our eyes to them and shown us. He has helped us to refine these conceptions. So many times, hundreds and hundreds of times I heard him say, same wine, new bottle. I'm not giving anything new. It's there, nothing new. One time he said, it's not even a different bottle. It's the same wine in the same bottle. In other words, there's nothing different. It's the same thing. Our source, our essence, everything is the same. So although it is the solar calendar anniversary of his disappearance, still we remember our own birthdays on the solar calendar. We follow solar calendar for so many things, and somehow it has a very deep connection to us. I have some video from that time on one of my old backup hard drives, which I have never released before, but it is...
Right?
I don't know if it was RT, but that whole situation, I don't know if anyone else had it, and I've got it on a backup hard drive, and so I'll make that available for the devotees. I'll have to search for it, and also for the archives. So, Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur. Page 99. Do you have any incense going, Sudevi?
No.
Okay. When we arrived, we received a phone call in America. Sudevi's health was not good at that time. Srila Gurudev had told us to stop our traveling and preaching and take care of the health. So he prioritized that if you're not able to be in a healthy condition, then take care of that first and then continue. So we went back to America. We cut our tour short at that time. The devotees were very kind and did not require us to repay the flight fees or anything that they had provided. And for three months or so, we were going to the doctors regularly and bringing Sudevi's health back up. And then we received the phone call, come to India immediately. Srila Gurudev is beginning his disappearance Leela. So somehow, through begging and borrowing, we were able to get tickets. And we arrived on October 10th, 2010. And by the next day, we were put in charge of Srila Gurudev's kitchen. Vraj Krishna Prabhu just said, it's yours. I'm just here to assist you. Vraj Krishna Prabhu was Gurudev's cook. But he said, I don't know how to cook all of the healthy things and all of these kind of things that all of these doctors are recommending. So he just said, I'll assist you. And we were just trying to follow orders, but also having to do research and take care of things ourselves. I can't hear you.
Never mind.
And so, I think it was the first day of Kartik, and we were in Delhi still at the mutt. And because it was Param Gurudev's disappearance day, on that day, early in the morning, Mahārāja Prabhu and a few other devotees went into Gurudev's room. And you can't imagine his condition at the time when we arrived. I can't tell you.
You were also there.
Huh?
You were also there.
What are you talking about?
It wasn't just Mahārāja Prabhu and them. You were also with them in the room at that time.
So you can imagine the condition of Srila Gurudev when we arrived in Delhi at that time. When Braj Mandal Prabhu saw us, he just collapsed onto me, holding me and weeping. Gurudev hadn't taken more than 1 palm of Charnamrita, of water per day for like the last week. And it was a very, very dire situation. Anyhow, somehow through a little bit of dietary addition, Gurudev's health started increasing a little bit. And then came that day. So it was morning time. Mahārāja Prabhu and some of the others were there. And I walked in on them. And they were softly singing around Srila Gurudev. It was like dimly lit, Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur. And I was a little concerned, and Mahārāja Prabhu just went like this, it's okay.
You were standing at the bed playing drums softly.
I came in later.
I remember it differently. I remember Vrinda Didi and I walking in, and you were all around his bed. I thought you were there.
No, I went in late.
Okay, so you were with us. Okay.
I went in just before you.
Okay, all right.
Mahārāja Prabhu actually went like this to me. And then I was like, okay. And then Sudevi and Vrinda Didi came in afterward. Can you tell it?
No, you just did. It's fine.
I haven't told it. And because they were singing this Jai Anilo Premadhana Karana Prachur, Sudevi and Vrinda were like, what's going on? And we were like, it's okay. And Vrinda Didi became really upset. Afterwards, she's like, don't sing that song. Don't sing that because it's the
Don't even sing that tune.
I don't want to hear that tune. I don't want to hear it because it's the bhajan that they sing when any Vaishnava disappears from this world. And she thought that maybe Gurudev had just left. It was shocking. And they were both, Sudevi and Vrinda Didi were both like very, like that, disturbed. And Mahārāja Prabhu just was like, it's okay. And then they said it was because it's Param Gurudev's day. And so they felt it would be appropriate to sing for Srila Gurudev to remember. So this is also difficult, especially on the day of our Gurudev, to sing and to remember. As Narottam Das Thakur is singing how the pain of separation from these Vaishnavas is so intense. The pain that comes in his head in that separation is so intense that it would be softer and soothing for him to rather smash his head on stone. And the fire of separation is so intense that it would be cooling to actually enter into fire rather than experience this fire of separation. Je anilo prema dhano karuna prachu je anilo prema dhano karuna prachu Helo Prabhu Kodhagena Acharya Thakur 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 Kahamura Swarupa Kaha Sanatana Kahamura Swarupa Kaha Sanatana Kahadaso Raghunatho Patita Pavana Kahadaso Raghunatho Patita Pavana Kahamura Heno Prabhu Korthagela Devata Jaya Guru Deva 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 Thakur, it is said that he dissolved in the Padma river. But yeah, he was in a state of intense heartbreak. But his whole life he was always in a mood of separation. Srila Gaura Babaji Mahārāja, he explained or told some devotees, if you want Krishna Prem, then you should purchase 2 books, Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika. Prarthana is by Narottam Thakur. Prem Bhakti Chandrika is by Narottam Thakur. Prarthana has bhajans like Gauranga Bulite Have Pulaka Sharir. Prem Bhakti Chandrika has bhajans like Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Satma. And of course there's so many others. But taking shelter of the moods of Sri Narottam Das Thakur in separation from Mahaprabhu and from the Vaishnavas, that is really our process. Like Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, he explained, I'm opening a crying school. That crying school is actually the school of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He showed by his own practice. Why did he manifest? Why did he appear? Krishna showed everyone all of his beautiful pastimes. Look how beautiful my pastimes are. But didn't show how one can enter. So when he came as Mahaprabhu, he came also as Jagat Guru, the universal Acharya, teaching by his own example that you have to give up every material attachment and exclusively surrender to Krishna, absorbing your mind in thinking about his names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and weeping in separation day and night. And we see that from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he was also doing that. The 6 Goswamis were doing the same. Constantly remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, weeping and searching. He Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite, He Nandashunokuta, Shri Govardhana Kalpapata Patale Kalindi Vannekuta, Goshankadati Sarvato Vrajabure Kedar Mahavihvalo, Vande Rupa Sanatano Rupujgo, Shri Jiva Gopalaka. Showing by their own example the process. And we have also seen it in our... Okay, thank you. Wow, that was a good catch. So now we will call for the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami. Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Prabhupada explained that as one is progressing in their path, on this path of Rupanuga Bhakti, they will see in their Gurudev that their Gurudev is a non-different manifestation of Sri Rupa. And ultimately, like Srimati Radhika, a manifestation of her. So, even Srila Gurudev explained to us in San Diego, he named 4 bhajans as examples. Sarvasva tomar charani sampiya korechi tomar ghare. I believe that's the one we were singing for him. And he said, you know, these bhajans, these sharanagati bhajans, these can also be sung for Gurudev. And he said, Sarvasva tomar. Generally, when you read that bhajan, which is composed by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, you will see that this is for Krishna. Srila Gurudev said, you can also sing it for Gurudev. That everything is yours. You are my master, and I am like your dog. Everyone has to have a master, so why not be the dog of the Guru, the dog of Nityananda Prabhu, as Srila Prabhupada has said. So, with that mood, I will be loyal to you. I will only take my foodstuff from you. I will not go to anyone who is against you. I will always be with you. If anyone comes against you, I will bark very loudly and scare them away. I will be happy and dance around you and circumambulate you. I will always remain at your feet. So this loyalty, Srila Gurudev said, is the prime quality of a disciple. Maybe we might have so many disqualifications, but loyalty, that I am loyal to my Gurudev. That doesn't mean just the form, it means the teachings, the instructions. I am loyal to that. I'm not going to run around here and there and accept things which are opposite to the conceptions of my Gurudev. So, he said this is what Sri Guru wants, our loyalty. And then the other ones he mentioned were Manasa Deho Geho, Joki Chumor, Arpilu Tuapade, Nanda Kishore. He said you can also sing this and apply this to Gurudev. The other one was Atmani Vedana Tuapade Kori, that I'm surrendering everything to your lotus feet. And then the last one he mentioned was Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, same or Sampada, that we can also sing this for Sri Guru. So, just applying it practically here and now to my primary connection. Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī is coming to me in the form of my Gurudev. And so many of these bhajans can be applied to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. One of Srila Gurudev's favorite bhajans, I know it was Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. He said that when he would go to visit our Srila Prabhupada at Radha Damodar, how Srila Prabhupada would weep when he was singing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. He would weep and cry. This dictation has been taken, it has been transcribed from Gurudev's lectures when he was remembering how Prabhupada would weep and cry while singing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. We don't have any recording of Prabhupada singing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, yet our Srila Gurudev recorded it in his heart, and he shared that with us. And that is just as valid, if not more valid, than even our physical recordings. For example, so many of us have had interactions with Srila Gurudev, which are 100% real and true, but no one filmed them, no one recorded it. Even we recorded some of our darshans and the phone that recorded it was stolen. It does not mean that that did not happen.
Also, Srila Gurudev told us that every day, as part of his bhajan, he sings Śrī Dāmodara, but we don't have it recorded, we don't have any kirtan of it. But he himself said, every day, as part of my bhajan, I recite this. So I was just adding to.
Srila Gurudev, we did hear in many of his Mangalacharans, he would sing that Ha Devi Kaku Bharagad Ganaya Devacha. I know that when Gurudev was receiving massage, and also at other times, he would always be remembering all of the ashtakams, one after the next, a constant flow. Unlike most of us, he was actually doing this every single day.
And there's no recording of it.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone actually putting a recorder next to him while they were giving massage, but he was there, like, Vande Rupa Sanatana Gosvāmī Śrī Gopalako, going through Shad Gosvāmī Ashtakam. Then he would sing Namami Nandanandanam, Radha Kripakataksha, Lalitashtakam, Vrindavanashtakam, Jamunashtakam, one after another, and Shri Gandharva Samprarthanashtakam. As we were giving him massage, he would just be under his breath. He wasn't even present to the massage. Very rarely. He would be like, oh, once I massaged him a little bit too hard, and he said it was a little too hard. But He was completely absorbed internally. So one of Srila Gurudev's favorite bhajans was Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, glorifying Srila Rupa Gosvāmī, that if he had not come, if he had not manifested in this world, then who would have understood the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who would have understood his manobhishta? Who would have given us the information, the transcendental knowledge of Vrindavan? Who would have told us about the difference between Vrindavan and Mathura and the pastimes which have taken place there? How would we know about the moods of the Brajvasis? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed him and had all of the Vaishnavas bless Rupa Goswami and instructed him to manifest these transcendental literatures and transcendental pastimes. So without him, where would we be?
It can also be sung for Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
It can also be sung for Srila Prabhupada and our Srila Gurudev. Without them, without Srila Prabhupada, who would have known anything about Vrindavan or Krishna? Most of us would have no access whatsoever. He created an amazing platform and brought the world to Vrindavan and to Navadvip. And our Srila Gurudev, who would have known about these very refined things? Even reading on our own, we could make so many mistakes. And Srila Gurudev was reconciling and refining so many points. So, whenever we would go to Terkadamba, he would have this bhajan sung. And I remember specifically afterward, when he sang Gojan, when I think it was Krishnadas sang this, Gojanata Brajanita. And Gurudev was saying, what is the meaning of Brajanita? You know, everyone looked confused. And he said, it means Braja Riti. And I was so confused because it's not my language. And he said, the way, the mood that the Brajabasis do things with in love and affection for Krishna, this is Brajanita. And so just little things like that, but he would refine them in such a way that it had such a deep impact and would stay within our hearts. So I want to sing this in also remembering our Srila Gurudev and what he himself gave to us. Without Srila Gurudev, where would we be? Even I was born and raised in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I had met Srila Prabhupada and received cookies from his hands. And for so many years, just kind of going with the flow, but not going deep. The moment I met Srila Gurudev, the first question he asked, not the first time I saw him, but the first time I met him when we were actually able to have a conversation, he asked a question to us. Sorry, he asked us if we had any questions. And I said, yes, why are they telling us we shouldn't come and see you? It's kind of the nature of my questions. And he said, oh, because when the devotees come to see me and they hear the Harikatha I'm telling, they find it to be so sweet that they want to stay, they don't want to return. So they're somewhat sore. You know, sour grapes. Oh, they're not returning. Oh, don't go to see him. And I thought, wow, what a breath of fresh air, simple, honest, straightforward answer, which is something that I was searching for because it didn't have a complex, convoluted, you know, trying to be profound feeling about it. It was just, I speak, they like it, they stay. Simple as that. And I thought, wow, how refreshing is that? It was so nice. And then he asked us a question. And his question was, what is the reason for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in this world? Of course I knew the answer. I'm a Guru Kuli. I knew all of Brahma Samhita and lots of Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So I was thinking, because to give Harinam Sankirtan, somehow the front of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, that one version said something about a modern saint or something. And I didn't even up until that point, I was kind of confused. Is he Krishna or is he a great devotee of Krishna? And I didn't know the answer. Most of our Gurukul friends who were there was 5 of us, we didn't really know the answers. And he came to the last boy, the one who arranged for us to see him. He had been with Srila Govinda Maharaj for 2 years, and he was quite fresh to Krishna consciousness. But because he was hearing from Srila Govinda Maharaj, when Srila Gurudev came to him, what did he say? To taste the moods of Srimati Radharani. And then Gurudev just looked straight at me, in my eyes, the way Gurudev does, and said, if you do not know all of these truths, how can you preach? And I was just like, how did he know that that's what I was planning to do? And oh my God, I don't know anything. If I don't know who Mahaprabhu is and what he came for, I don't know anything. At that moment, he popped my bubble of thinking I knew a lot, and I felt very small next to him, and I felt I can learn from this person. He extracted my honor, my trust, my faith, and my desire to want to go deeper in a moment. So, by the grace of Srila Gurudev, from the beginning, it was all about diving deep into these teachings and learning the moods behind them, not just skimming along the surface, going to the Sunday feast program, having a good kirtan, making sure the class finished after 20 minutes so that it didn't take too long and cut into prasadam time, because after prasadam then we needed to do other important things with our friends, like go to the movies or whatever we were doing at the time. Srila Gurudev injected everything with a deep essence, deep meaning, and that there was nothing that had no instruction on the path of Rupanuga Bhakti that was given for any general purpose. Everything had a refined, deep meaning and a purpose to bring us to our goal. And he wanted us to understand that, to know that, and to go deep into that. So just like Rupa Goswami gave all of these, everything. Rupa Goswami gave everything. So our Srila Gurudev, our Srila Prabhupada have also given everything. If they had not appeared in this world, what would we know? And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explained that the moment that we are not under guidance in sadhu sangha, then everything that we have received we can easily lose. Even after being in their association. So it's essential to endeavor to hold on tightly and not let go. So now we're going to sing Yam Kalirupa Śrī Dāmodara. Yam Kalirupa Śrī Dāmodara. Yam Kalirupa Śrī Dāmodara. Tam Brajate Mahārāja Tutharikam. Tam Brajate Mahārāja Tutharikam. Nitai Gunamani, Amar Nitai Gunamani, page 61. In this bhajan, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja asked, what is the meaning of Abadha Karuna Sindhu Katya Mohan? He said that the prem that was kept in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been dammed up. It was blocked. And through the pastime of Jagai and Madai, Nityananda Prabhu, giving them his mercy, by the mercy of Akhanda Guru Tattva, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, by that, Mahaprabhu gave his full mercy. Nityananda Prabhu told him, how will everyone know your glories? In Kali Yuga, everyone, there's demon and devotee inside each personality. Both tendencies are there. Will you kill everyone? In other incarnations, you have come to kill the demons. Yada yada hi dharmasya pritranaya sadhanam vinashaya cha dushkritam. As Ram, as Krishna, so many different forms you've come to kill the demons. But if you were to kill everyone who has some demonic tendency now, then you would have to kill everyone. Your glories will truly be known if you can kill the demonic propensity inside each personality and awaken the devotee. So by the petition of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, seeing the pitiful condition of Jagai and Madai, who had actually struck him and caused him to bleed, by his petitioning on their behalf, despite their aparad, Mahaprabhu gave his mercy to them. And so here it says, Abadha Karuna Sindhu Katya Mohan, Nityananda Prabhu. It says cutting a channel in the dam, but actually he broke that dam. And by that mercy, praying flooded everywhere, to each and every house. Ghare ghare means from house to house. Amiyaraban, completely inundating everywhere. So this is the mood of Sri Guru. They cannot help themselves but be merciful. Even if someone goes against them, still they have to try. I remember Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Gosh, what year was it? 1997. He said, they're telling me that I shouldn't come. I shouldn't go. He said, but Śrīla Swami Mahārāja, our Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, he ordered me that you must help them. He said, so whose order should I follow? He said, even if they don't want, still I have to try. Even if they go against, still I must try. Because I've been ordered by my Shiksha Guru to do so. In the face of opposition, it's very difficult for most persons to continue when so many are looking down on you for one reason or another, and they reject and they don't want. Most people can become discouraged, but because Sri Guru is the embodiment of the mercy, the condensed mercy and compassion of the Lord, he cannot help himself. Paraduka dukhi. They feel suffering, seeing the suffering of the jivas. Jiva dukhe sadartaya. And seeing that, even though like naughty boys, like children throwing a tantrum, we don't want to receive that medicine which is beneficial for us. Still, they try in one way or another to give us that thing which is beneficial and helpful for us. Even if we kick them, even if we reject them, if we even spread false rumors about them or anything, still they make that endeavor for our benefit. Shri Nama Prema Dayine, to give us praying for Shri Krishna, for his holy name. So page 61, Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Nitai Guna Mani Yama
Vita
Bhashayo Namo Nitai He 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 Jayo Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Gaurangera Dutipada Jardhana Sampada, page 74. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm almost positive that this was Srila Gurudev's favorite bhajan glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would ask Sudevi to sing it, and every time he would be sitting there, usually the bhajan, he would want it to go at a particular pace, and then he would wind it up. But with that one, he would call her, and then he would, as she would start singing, he would open his eyes and look at her, and then he would just hold up 2 fingers and sing each line twice, and then he would just close his eyes and deeply absorb and sing with it, and never rushed it, never rushed it. Gorangero Dutipada Jardhana Sampada Gorangero Dutipada Jardhana Sampada Gorangero Dutipada Jardhana Sampada Gorangero Dutipada Jardhana Sampada Se jane bhakti raso sar se jane bhakti raso sar Gorangero madhur leela jar karne praveshila Gorangero madhur leela jar karne praveshila Vedo yarirmana Vedota Vedo yarirmana Vedota Vraj sa sa Gaura he 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 Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai. So we have received a question. Why is this Mahaprabhu song so slow, especially when Gaura-Nitai are famous for their lively sankirtans? It's a very good question. First of all, today, although it is not the lunar disappearance festival of our Srila Gurudev, it is the anniversary of the day in the year, December 29th, in 2010 at 3 o'clock in the morning, or around that time, Srila Gurudev departed our vision, our physical vision in this world. And so today we cannot help but feel a mood of separation. And so it is appropriate to maintain the mood of that day or of that observance without disrupting it. And so it would be very easy to sing fast and happy and light bhajans, but because of the separation feeling for our Gurudev, it would seem to be inappropriate. Just like with the bhajan where Narottam Das Thakur is crying in separation from his dear friends, Ramchandra Kaviraj, his Shiksha Gurus, the Goswāmīs. He's weeping in separation from Mahaprabhu. It would be inappropriate to sing Jayanila Prema Dhana Karuna Prachu. It wouldn't sit right, it would create a disturbance. Even sometimes Srila Gurudev, in the middle of class, would ask us to sing in the bhajan to wake everyone up. If it was a kirtan like Jai Jai Radharaman Haribol, maybe it would be fast. One time Sudevi started singing Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande in the middle of class for Gurudev, as he instructed, thinking that it's time to liven everyone up. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, and Gurudev just went Yadyapi Samadhishu, very slow. What is the meaning of that bhajan? So depending on the context, on the day, on the mood, on the katha, everything, it all fits together. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were doing kirtan out in public, for the public, there's one kind of mood. And even then we hear that they were weeping. Sometimes we think that their kirtan is something like what we do, which might be sometimes, but sometimes we have more of a in the general kirtans, it might even be more of a disco kind of mood, something fast and upbeat that everyone grooves to. But Mahaprabhu's kirtan never was like that. It wasn't for that purpose. Always it was in a mood of loving service to Krishna. That is what kirtan is. It is transcendental sound vibration descending from Goloka Vrindavan. And as I previously explained, it is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of our Goswāmīs and our Guru Varga to introduce the process by which we can actually attain to real kirtan, and that is the process of entering into the crying school. The crying school. Nayanam galarashrudhare vadanam gadgadarudhayagira pulakar nichitam babukada tabanama grahane bhavishyati. Mahaprabhu is saying, while reciting your holy names, I cannot help myself. What is happening? Nayanam galarashrudharaya. Tears are gushing from my eyes like torrents of rain. My hairs are standing on end. My voice is choked up. Vadanam gadgad rudhayagira. while I'm chanting your names. So we have a certain impression, and that impression may be, but you understand that within the Śrīla Sangam, where Mahaprabhu is doing kirtan, a different mood is there. So depending on the audience as well, different moods are present. So many different conditions are there. Our Srila Gurudev always liked the appropriate mood for the appropriate time. One time, we told you previously, he was at Radha Kund. And there at Radha Kund, near Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi, that whole hall was packed with devotees. Even upstairs, on top of the roof, devotees were looking through. I was one of those looking through. And Srila Gurudev started his Mangalacharan before speaking. And he spoke that Ha Devi Kaku Baragadaya Devacha. This is from Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. And as he began saying that verse in glorification of Srimati Radhika, Ha Devi Kakubara Gadgadaya Devacha. His voice, he said, my voice is choking up. I cannot even speak properly. Gurudev's voice choked up. Tears started pouring from his eyes and he could no longer say anything. And tears were flowing and he was wiping them and just kind of, it was almost like out of sense, looking left and right, and we were all just there silent. And one lady, Bengali Vaishnava, from Bengal. I don't like to use the prefix of the country or the place where someone is. Bengali Vaishnava, American Vaishnava. Vaishnavas are Vaishnavas, but they may be born or come from different countries. So one Vaishnava from Bengal. She began to wail very loudly at that moment. Ah! Like that. And Gurudev's mood broke. And he was very stern, very strong, and all of us looked at her like, what have you done? And then Gurudev was giving very strong and strict and heavy even katha at that time. The mood was changed. And so when any Vaishnava is feeling, it's essential that we try to maintain that mood of the moment, that we don't disrupt their bhav. We also don't disrupt the bhav of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by trying to enforce upon him that you are Krishna, you are Krishna. He is Krishna, but he's endeavoring to taste the bhav of Srimati Radhika. So if we keep trying to press this on him, this will create a disturbance in mood, otherwise known as rasa abhas, an incompatible mood. So at different times, in different circumstances, different kinds of kirtan were manifested. But for us, what is the most beneficial? The most beneficial for us is not the happy, grooving, light. I'm using the word light for a reason. This stuff that I enjoy, I like, and it's fun. You know, all the meeting and happy and light and fun. But really to go deep, to weep, to cry, to pray from that mood, that is very attractive to Krishna. That is attractive to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is how Raghunath Das Goswāmī prayed. How much affection did Mahaprabhu shower him with? How much mercy? How he was taken to that path of weeping and crying. So today, because it is the solar anniversary of the day that 10 years ago, on this day, December 29th, our Srila Gurudev departed from our vision in this world. We cannot help ourselves but to feel some separation. And although through remembering him there's meeting, still that separation is there. If there's an endeavor to serve, if there's an endeavor to connect and to remember and to share his teachings and his moods. Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugal Kishor Jivani Marani Gati Aranahi Mor. I remember we were in Singapore, and I was still quite new, must have been 1998 or 98. And Srila Gurudev asked me to lead the evening Arti Kirtan. Well, I didn't know Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugala Milan. I only knew Radha Krishna Pranamur. So I was like, Radha Krishna Pranamur. He's like, no, the other one. And I'm like, I don't know it. He said, okay. So, Radha Krishna Pranamur Jugala Kishor Jivani Maranigati Arnahimur. I don't know, Devaki. Sudevi's had a severe migraine. That's why she's not able to participate or play kartals. Even the bell in the morning when we were doing arti was hurting her head. So it seems to be slightly getting better, but it has been a couple of days now. Page 123. I don't know if you remember in 1996, many of you may have met Srila Gurudev at that time. And most of the kirtans were very sad, heartfelt, in a mood of longing and weeping and searching and crying for Krishna, crying for the mercy of Gurudev. All devotees were weeping around Gurudev. And this, Gurudev was so happy for. I told you previously that in, 2008, Sudevi was sitting at his feet and she was just crying and crying. And Gurudev looked at her and he said, oh, thank you for your tears. He said, before everyone used to weep, but now no one weeps anymore. Thank you for your tears. So this is also pleasing to Gurudev, that if we're crying for Guru, crying for Gauranga, crying for Radha and Krishna. You know, the day that Srila Gurudev departed from this world, Sudevi's health took a dramatic downturn. I mean, night and day, and she still hasn't fully recuperated from that. And actually noticing that Gurudev was shifting into it, he was transitioning into the separation pastimes, is when her body started breaking down. And somehow Gurudev, he told us to take care of her health, and everything that she had learned from taking care of her health, she was able to utilize for Gurudev, including her own medicines. She used that for Gurudev. And then they started ordering them and the devotees started bringing them. But it was quite interesting. So many things immediately. Even she got some weird growth right here on her temple. It was like it manifested overnight from that anguish. It was very difficult actually watching her, I wouldn't say process. The process is still going on, but the effect that it had on her. So Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishor Jivane Marane Gati Ar Nahi Mo. Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishor Shri Radha Mino Bihari Ji ki Jai. Just in case we are able to read any from Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, we will now sing Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, page 290. Shri Yashoda Damodar ki Jai, Radha Raman Ji ki Jai, Radha Milo Bihari Ji ki Jai, Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki Jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki Jai, Shalagram Shila ki Jai, Laddu Gopal ki Jai, Chotta Laddu Gopal ki Jai. I don't remember which tune we did yesterday. Oh, we did the Gaudiya tune. But I'm going to sing the Gaudiya tune again today, because that one is etched into my mind, in my memory, and my heart with Srila Gurudev. Namami Sharam Sachirananda Rupam Rasatularam Gokule Brajman Yashoda Bhiyonuka Radhavamanam Param Rishtamatyam Sachirananda Damodar Ju ki jai, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Somehow by great mercy, Sudevi and I were allowed into the inner chambers to be able to serve Srila Gurudev, and we were engaged in his kitchen seva. So inside, they kept us isolated from everyone else because about halfway through Kartik, everyone would get very sick and they didn't want anything coming inside from outside. So we would not mix. We kept social distance for Srila Gurudev. And inside the inner chambers, there they called Sudevi Soup Devi, because her function was to cook a new soup every half hour, from scratch, fresh, for Gurudev. Something different and something fresh. And a little bit would be given to him, and it would help to keep his energy levels going and increasing. And I was nicknamed Kitchen Mohan because I was the support. So cleaning from top to bottom. They had cleaned the kitchen in Govardhan maybe 4 times already, and we came in and we're like, no. And we did it all again. And Mahārāja was bringing people in, looked like a museum for him or something. So, and I was supporting, we were giving Gurudev so many different supplements and whatever the doctors were ordering, whatever Mahārāja was ordering. And really so many valuable lessons came at that time. I remember so many devotees telling us, pray that he can stay with us for a long time. And Gurudev was saying, I'm ready to leave. I have given everything I came to give. In fact, on his way to Govardhan, in the ambulance, because he was lying on the bed inside, so they brought him in an ambulance. Sundar Gopal Prabhu of, you know the writer, Simon Haas, Sundar Gopal, the Book of Dharma. So he was there also serving at that time. And he was in the ambulance with Gurudev. And he said, Gurudev kept asking, where are we now? And they said, oh, we're almost to the Govardhan road. Where are we now? Oh, we're about 5 miles from the Govardhan road. Where are we now? We've just turned onto the Govardhan road. And Gurudev was lying in the ambulance. He said, Gurudev took his mask off and he said, now I will give up eating, I will give up drinking, and I will leave in Govardhan. So Gurudev had an intention, and he was quite excited about it. And the fact that he remained as long as he did, he was a little bit concerned, actually. Why am I still here? Like, what's wrong? Why am I still here? So the devotees were saying, pray for him to stay with us for a long time. And Gurudev was expressing something else. And so he had always, I say he had always, but Srila Gurudev had explained that we should apply this verse, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. The verse defining bhakti, we should apply first and foremost at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And so, I remember we were really thinking about that constantly. And so our prayer wasn't that you should stay longer or that you should not stay longer. It was whatever is favorable for you. We will keep doing our duty. And our duty was to serve in a particular capacity. But what was for his benefit, what was favorable for him, then we were praying that, even if it was not what we wanted. And so we learned that very valuable lesson in that situation. And also, we had to learn that sometimes the desire of Guru, the desire of the Master, is not necessarily the best thing. We had to learn that sometimes we had to do what was beneficial for him versus what was pleasing to him. And what took precedence was the beneficial. And we've told you previously, he wanted to lie flat. He wasn't resting so well because he was on a slight incline. The doctors had ordered that he should always be on an incline because he had a tube. He wanted to lie flat. So the devotees were like, well, Gurudev is ordering for us to lay him flat inside. And Sudevi was like, go to the doctor and find out why, and then share with them why they shouldn't. Because a lot of times we follow the path of sentimentality. Well, it feels right, it seems nice, it's good. But they have discovered certain things scientifically. There's certain things that you should and shouldn't do in certain situations. And anyone who's a nurse would know why you don't lie someone flat who has a tube going into their stomach. But anyone who's not might not understand this. So we went to the doctor and I asked him, you draw it for me so I can show everyone. So he drew it, he explained it, and I was like, oh my God, I better go tell them immediately. So I went and told Mahārāja, I told the others who are in charge. Mahārāja gave an executive order, do not lay him flat no matter what. Even if he orders it, you make sure he stays slightly inclined. So from that, we learned that although his desire for his pleasure or his comfort at the time was a certain thing, what was for his benefit, what was favorable for him, took precedence over that. And this was application of this anyabhilashita shunyam, this anukulyena Krishna. Gurudev said this is the first form of Krishna in our lives, is Guru Krishna. So in this case, anukulyena Guru Krishna anushilanam bhaktirutama. What is favorable for him, what is beneficial for him. This took precedence over what was for his pleasure, in the same way that the milk boiling over in the other room, which we've been discussing in Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, took precedence over Krishna's desire to continue drinking Mother Yashoda's breast milk. At that point, she heard the milk boiling over in the other room, and that milk, its mood was, do or die. If I cannot serve Krishna, then I have no reason to maintain my existence. Let me enter into fire and give up my life. And Mother Yashoda, because that milk was thinking, her capacity is unlimited to serve Krishna. And Krishna's capacity to drink from her breast milk is also unlimited. So when will I get an opportunity to serve? When she understood that mood and heard that the milk was about to boil over, immediately she put Krishna down. Krishna became upset. He became angry. But she was thinking, with my own milk I cannot make yogurt, I cannot make butter, I cannot make Shrikand and Rabri and Rasamalai and so many beautiful other Burfi and Pera and everything else for Krishna. So for what is favorable for him and for his benefit, let me put down his immediate pleasure for his benefit. So Srila Gurudev had instructed that we should apply this verse like that. And so we were able to practically experience it in that situation. And then, especially this mood, what we've always heard about Vishram Mena Guru or Seva. Serving Gurudev with intimacy, with affection, like any worldly relationship. And up until almost the very last day that we were there serving, I was always thinking that it meant being able to serve him personally, massage him personally, wash his clothes, which I was doing, cleaning his room, so many personal things. But then we realized, seeing how the devotees outside, all of you, were weeping and crying with hearts breaking chanting at the top of your lungs. We were told not to cry inside. Don't cry. Our hearts are hard here. If you cry, then we'll all start crying, and then we'll give difficulty to Gurudev. He'll be concerned, why are you all weeping? So the mood was, we should always stoic inside. So we were inside doing our duty, doing our seva. If we had to cry, we had to go in some corner somewhere and hide our tears. And the devotees outside were crying, weeping with voices choked up. Their hearts were breaking at the possibility of the impending disappearance of our Śrī Gurudev. And so many times we were thinking, we just want to be out there with them. We were inside counting milliliters of this and that and all of these different supplements and herbal remedies and everything that was being given. And we were ordered by Mahārāja to do this, do that. So very carefully we were trying to follow these instructions. But we weren't allowed to cry inside. I mean, inside the rooms. Inside here, yes. But we had to hold back the tears. And outside, the devotees were calling out at the top of their voice, weeping, hearts breaking. And that's where we wanted to be. And so inside we were doing our duty. Even at one point, they gave Gurudev a certain medicine and he was feeling strong again. And he was like, you should all go on parikrama. I'm feeling strong again. He wanted everyone to be on parikrama. And then he came to Govardhan to be with everyone at parikrama. He was so concerned with how the parikrama was going on, how things would be maintained. There had already been breaks within the Sangha. And Gurudev was so concerned because who was normally looking after the parikrama was not doing so. Gurudev kept expressing so much concern how everything is going on. So he wanted to be there with all of the devotees. And he wanted to see. So they arranged cameras back and forth so that Gurudev could see the devotees and so that the devotees could see him. And even though he had barely any energy, still he wanted to be able to communicate and connect. So just to lift his arm that much, to show the devotees, I am here with you. I want to be with you. I want to go out with you. I've come to Govardhan to be with the devotees. This was his expression at that time. So, I just remember thinking up until December 27th. I think that was maybe over the 26th. Either 26th or 27th. I was thinking, yes, Vishram Bena Guru Seva. This means to serve with intimacy, doing all of this personal, intimate stuff like cooking for him, cleaning for him, washing his clothes, massaging him, cleaning his floors. And then Sudevi and I realized something. It actually depends on what seva has been prescribed by Gurudev for the disciple. For certain persons, that may be their Vishram Bena Guru or seva. For others, the order, the desire of Gurudev, that is the life and soul of the disciple. And to the extent that the disciple enters into endeavoring to follow that order, Gurudev told us, he said, following my order is directly my darshan. Following my order is directly my darshan. Then I understood that Vishramba, this means with deep intimacy. It's not necessarily at all about being physically with Guru, touching the body of Guru. It may be for some. That might be their Vishram Bena Guru Seva and the Manobhishta Seva. But Vishram Bena Guru Seva, what is most deep, most intimate, that is Manobhishta Seva. Doing that thing which fulfills the inner heart's desire of Guru. And we see that in the case of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī in relation with Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is glorified as that person who fulfilled the inner heart's desire of Mahaprabhu. Śrī Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. He is glorified as that person who fulfilled the inner heart's deepest desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And yet, we don't know that he spent so much time physically with him. We know at Dashashvamedha Ghat in Varanasi, there he spent 10 days. And also at Ramkeli. And a couple other occasions. But Mahaprabhu sent him in so many. You go to Vrindavan. My heart is Vrindavan. You go there. And follow my instruction. Do your service. And so by that is the greatest Vishramba, the greatest intimacy, is actually doing that thing which is the most pleasing to Guru, to Gauranga, to Radha and Krishna. More than just physical, it's the heart. I was going to tell you something, but I can't tell it right now because we have not gone to that place yet. But when we do go, we will tell you, and then you will understand the connection. So, it was a great lesson, a great and powerful lesson. For all of my years with Gurudev, I thought, Vishramana Guru Seva, finally I have attained the result of my other seva, to come into the inner chambers of Gurudev and do this Vishramba Seva. And the result of that for me was, wait a second, whatever is causing me to have the deepest connection, feelings of indebtedness, feelings of heartfelt connection, feelings of separation to Sri Guru. The instruction he gave us again and again and again. Travel the world and preach my mission more and more. Inspire my devotees on my behalf. Nourish the spiritual lives of my children. What capacity do we have for this? But he's given the order. Breathe life into Los Angeles, he said. How can we do such a thing? But please utilize me as an instrument for what you want. Like he told me, one of the very first instructions he gave, you sit in front of me with, he went like this, a musical instrument. He said, so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. To be utilized by Sri Guru and to be willing to be utilized by Sri Guru for his purpose. That I am a particle and I am meant for service. Sri Gurudev would say, we should be like this. He picked up a flower and he started moving it left and right, up and down. I want that your heart should be like this, that I can move you and place you wherever, however I like. To have this kind of mood of loyalty and giving up our own mundane independence and becoming dependent on, or giving our independence to Sri Guru. Gurudev also said that this is what Guru wants from the disciple. And what will Gurudev do with that? Gurudev doesn't need any of that for himself. But if he sees that we're able to do that, to offer that, then he can take it, make it qualified, purify that, and one day offer it to the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. That was his purpose, that was his function, that was his goal for us. That we would give him that independence and he would engage it in the service of the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. So although today is technically not the lunar anniversary of the disappearance day of our Srila Gurudev, still what Jiva Pavan Prabhu posted yesterday, he posted something that he had written 10 years before. On Facebook, I guess, he had posted it. And he reshared it. And it kind of created a lump in my throat, as I just read, a big lump in my throat. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. But from that moment, it's just been moving inside. And I woke up this morning, at exactly that time, that we had received that message. Come now, Srila Gurudev has just departed. Come to his room. And there was two parts of me. One part was freaking out and, what can I do? What can I do? And the other part was for Gurudev, for him. He was ready to go. He was asking, why am I still here? He would ask the doctors, why am I not leaving? I've done everything I came to do. And so for him, I felt relief. For him, I felt relief. But for me, I felt separation. Two things were going on at the same time. But as we have endeavored to continue to follow his instruction, despite our inadequacies, despite our weaknesses, despite our flaws, what he ordered us to do, we find that he is present. The more we endeavor to follow, the more we endeavor to serve, the more we endeavor to practice, the more he is present, the more he manifests, the more he will come in dreams, the more he will give inspiration. He is not a mundane personality like any ordinary person of this world. Sri Guru is transcendental. They manifest here for some time and then go to any other location to continue their preaching service. Srila Prabhupada explained this. It is the eternal function of the spiritual master to endeavor to rescue the fallen conditioned souls of this material world. So in one place or another, he is still doing this service. He has passed in front of our eyes for a short time. But if we're endeavoring to serve, I can't believe 10 years has gone by. It doesn't even feel like one day. So, it's very, very fresh. But what is more fresh than his disappearance, and this is something Sudevi and I discussed quite a lot, Gurudev wasn't about his disappearance. We actually knew that he wasn't going to hang around for another roller coaster ride. We thought he's too much of a fighter for that. Srila Gurudev's mood was very strong. He had a lot of strong preaching energy. And his mood was, if I cannot continue to do my seva, if I cannot write, if I cannot preach, then why should I stay? I've already done everything I need to do. They actually suggested to him, maybe, this all I can say is bag in, bag out. Those of you who understand will understand. And Gurudev's only question related to that, will this make it so that I can continue to write and do my seva? And they said, well, it's not certain, Gurudev. He said, then what is the use? If it's not certain, then why would I do that? He said, then better to let me go. And even Gurudev was saying, Gurudev's like, what normally happens to people my age when they're like this? And some of the devotees were like, well, they can go to the hospitals and they take medicine and this and that and get help. And Gurudev's like, no. For most people, they leave. He said, I'm not afraid to leave. He doesn't need to be afraid to leave. He's completely connected. But he said, I'm not afraid to leave. Most people, they do this. So Gurudev's mood was not afraid or that he was losing anything. He was ready to go. And our necessity is for Sri Guru, for his mercy. But that mercy is still present to this day for each and every one of us. If we sincerely endeavor to follow his instructions, if we sincerely endeavor to hold on to his teachings as they are, if we sincerely endeavor to represent those teachings to others, he will be present. And if we are in necessity, if we are in need of sadhu sangha, like him, then if we make that personal endeavor to follow his general instructions sincerely, then he will send the necessary association, or the necessary association will be sent to us so that we can progress. Gopkumar had so many different gurus, you can say. It's actually one principle manifesting in so many different forms. And they were all working together in conjunction to help to bring him to his perfection. So Srila Gurudev, we may see that person, or we may see any other form. But just as he said about himself, same wine, new bottle. It's the same substance, the same essence, maybe in a different physical form. If we are sincere, if we are praying, if we are weeping, if we're crying for that association, which is desperately needed for us who are bound in this material world, then by Krishna's mercy, by his mercy, by Guru's mercy, Sri Guru can and will again manifest in our lives and continue to help us to progress the same substance in maybe another form. But of course, we can never forget those beautiful blue eyes, the affection, the kindness, the laughter, maybe even the correction and the chastisement, the inspiration, the hope, the beauty. The mercy, the kindness, and the personability. How personal was he with us? So, there's no time for us to read Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam today, but I want to end with Hare Krishna Mahamantra in a mood of separation, remembering Srila Gurudev. Wow. Jiva Pavana Prabhu once called out to Gurudev, "May you live for 100 years." And he turned to him with great gravity and said, "Please do not curse me in that way." I remember hearing Gurudev say a few times, "I want to leave on the same day that Srila Vaman Maharaj and Srila Trivikram Maharaj left." He had said it. We had all heard him. He said it a few times in different years. And as that day was approaching, everyone was very concerned. We were at Govardhan, and leading up to that, Gurudev's physical health had been taking a very extreme downturn, especially that day. Mahārāja, Brajanath, and so many actually stayed in the room with him that night. They slept on the floor. And Gurudev's health had taken a severe downturn. And it was so frightening at that point. And something, by some grace, somehow or other, he maintained and came through and remained for another month and a half. So, Srila Gurudev is always good. He's always good. He's always happy. He's fine. In every situation, even one devotee was apologizing to him. "I'm so sorry you had to be on the airplane for so long." He said, "I was in Vrindavan." "So sorry that you've lost your hearing." "I'm happy. Before everyone was complaining. Now I only hear Hare Krishna, so I am happy." One senior Vaishnava, disciple of his, fell down, who was in a high position, and the devotee came to Gurudev. "Gurudev, it must really upset you. You must feel hurt." "No, I'm okay. I'm fine." Why is he okay? Because he's always absorbed in meditating on the sweet pastimes of Krishna, meditating on his Guru Day, on his Guru Varga, on Gauranga Mahaprabhu, on the mercy of the 6 Goswāmīs. For the rest of us, we have problems. So many problems. But for him, he would say there's only one problem. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? One devotee told us early on, she went into Gurudev's room and he was sitting there on his bed as he would, chanting Hare Krishna and weeping. Tears were pouring from his eyes and he was chanting, just moving like this. And she just sat down quietly in the corner and was chanting. At that time, that was the thing to do. And after some time, Gurudev opened his eyes. And he looked at her and he said, in this world, there is no problem. There's only one problem. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And he closed his eyes and continued weeping and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He practiced what he preached. If you would go late in the evening or any time, Mahārāja would say, Gurudev taking rest, so silence is best. And we walked past his room. He was walking back and forth, chanting. Late in the evening, we went to see him. He was sitting there, chanting. Always remembering, always chanting, always praying, and teaching by his own example. He is really Acharya, and really deeply absorbed in the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So what he was doing, he was instructing us. What did he always say? Chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So, Srila Gurudeva ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rupananda Guru Varga ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So one time Srila Gurudev said to Krishna Das, who is also no longer with us, Gurudev said he was the best Kirtaniya, number one. Gurudev said to him, Vipralambha. That means in the mood of separation. And Krishna Das immediately began with this tune. It means a mood of separation. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Govinda Hare Madhaviti, Govinda Hare Madhaviti, Govinda Hare Madhaviti, Govinda Hare Madhaviti. Guru Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So thank you for being with us today, in giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings and glories, and just to share these remembrances of our Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga. Also, to all of you, we feel extremely indebted that on a daily basis you give us the opportunity to remember Srila Gurudev's teachings and the teachings of our Guru Varga, and to follow their instructions, or at least to endeavor to follow their instructions. For that we are indebted to you, because those instructions are our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandava Pranam. Hare Krishna.
dear
Radhe
Vaishnavas.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai.
Jai.
Bol Srila Gurudev ki
Ki jai.
jai.